Are you willing to dissolve in order to transform? It's an interesting question, isn't it? And for a long time, I've been inspired by the transformational journey or experience of the butterfly. I'm sorry, of the caterpillar to the butterfly. We're all familiar with it. And I think if you look up here in this green, I think it's called a chrysalis. We know that's where the transformation begins. But one thing I don't think we think about is too often we just imagine that this caterpillar goes in there and suddenly sprouts wings and changes form and becomes a butterfly. But the reality is, when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, that the caterpillar dissolves effectively, probably not the scientific term, but becomes kind of this goo, this soup of what can be next. And it's from this goo, from this soup, that the butterfly is formed and then is transformed from the caterpillar to the butterfly. But that in between space, this goo or soup, we don't think about. And the same is true for us in making change in our life, especially bigger change, what we would call personal transformation. And whether that transformed person is going to show up differently in their relationships as a parent, as an institutional leader, whatever that role is, there's this transformational process that requires us to become some form of goo or soup. Now, not literally, we don't have to turn into a puddle on the ground, but we have to be willing to completely let go of what we were before and who we were, which is usually the greatest obstacle to change and transformation. I want to change, but I still want to hold on to some of the things that come with that old way. I want to hold on to my identity. I want to hold on to some of my behaviors. I want to hold on to some of the stories about myself or stories about the world. But the reality is that needs to, for the most part, dissolve and turn into this soup or muck, which is messy. It's uncertain, but there's this clear letting go of what was in order to transform into what can be. That's the question we all have to answer. And if we're not answering that question and taking a look at that question and taking a look at what I and we and you want to hold on to of that old way, even if lots of things of the old way were really good and we just want to change a little piece, that's not an option for the butterfly. The butterfly doesn't get to say, I want to let go of 1/10 of what I was in order to become the butterfly. The caterpillar has to be willing to completely dissolve its essence as a caterpillar in order to become the butterfly. So are you willing to become the muck and the soup for what is possible within you and therefore what is possible through you and around you and with your efforts and support and transformation?